So what I want us to do is to start becoming more conscious, start choosing things in a better way for ourselves, and start creating a life that's going to gear us to really take advantage of the opportunities that are going to show up for us in the years to come.
This podcast is brought to you by The Integrated Human. We work up, down, inside out to plug yourself into your potential. If you want to see what we are up to and what's next, sign up to our newsletter or follow us on social media. If you like what we are doing, we really appreciate it if you can like or post on social media and YouTube and help us grow.
All right. Welcome to the Big and Small Podcast. I'm Jason Shields and I'm big.
And I'm Marit Gabrielsen and I'm the tiny one.
Back in the hot seats. That's it. So, did we have any questions from the lovely people?
We do.
All the lovely children.
We do like, and I don't just like, I love it when they ask questions.
Yeah.
Always fascinating. So this is a question we have gotten from a lovely man that has now listened to all of the podcasts. I think this is episode 81.
Yep.
We are 3 years in
He's all
to this project.
Up.
He's all caught up.
Yes.
And it's a very open question, but it's a very good one. So the question in today's episode is, how do you know that you are doing the work?
That's a very good question. And doing the work, of course, is always in relationship to what?
Yes, it's very interesting because one of the first thing that you taught me when we were starting my process here was that be nuanced and be precise with phrases.
Yes.
So the first question I asked myself when I saw the question was, like you said, work in relationship to what? So are we talking about working out or family life or spiritual development? So it's first to kind of condense it. If you have the question, I think many will have that question. It's one of the one that I think is natural that comes up is, am I doing the work? Am I doing the right things?
Yes.
But then find out first, what do you put it next to? Is it to work out? Well, then that's maybe kind of an easy one, because are you working out?
Yeah.
If you're not, if you work out once a month, are you not doing the work? Are you working out multiple times a day? Maybe you do a little bit too much of the work.
Yes.
It's not sustainable over time.
Yeah.
But maybe 3 times a week, that's a sustainable amount of and dose of working out. So I would say if your goal is to work out 2 to 3 times a week, it's a good start.
Yeah.
To kind of, but in this case, I do have a feeling it's more related to development, spiritual development, self-development, and transformation, which makes it a very open and interesting question.
Yeah. Well, there's a few, like to tell a story that you've heard before.
Story time with Jason.
Yep. And then we will do exactly what you were saying. We'll try to quantify what the goal may be of the work. And then also kind of like how you know if you're moving that direction and if you're doing it efficiently. So when I was younger, I did a lot of meditation. If you've listened to all the podcasts, which this gentleman obviously has, he remembers that my father came back from Vietnam heavily affected by PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder. They say it's now post-traumatic stress. It's not disorder, because it's normal to be all messed up when you come back from something that's messed up, right? Yeah. So
being an earthquake or avalanche or war.
Exactly. Whatever that trauma is, right? And of course, trauma, as we know today, is not quantifiable. Like, some people walk through Vietnam and come back super healthy, weirdly enough. For them, it wasn't a trauma. Whereas being, corrected for bad manners at a restaurant, for them is way worse. Because pain, trauma is a personal experience, but it's still going through things like war, many people will have a reaction to. And he did. and he self-medicated his depression and anxiety and paranoia and all of the stress symptoms that he came home with drugs and alcohol. So my mother had to leave there, and she started looking for answers because she's a nice person and a good person, and life is based on good things happen to good people. So then you have to figure out, well, I just had a bad thing happen to me. The person I love more than anybody in the whole world just collapsed and is now dangerous for my son. How do I deal with this? I must be a bad person, right? And you have to go through a lot of work, internal work, in order to move through that. So we were involved in different kinds of meditation and philosophical groups. My mom was looking at different religions. So I got to really experience a lot of interesting things and interesting people. And that comes with its own culture, hierarchy, set of rules. All of these things change from group to group. So we entered into the Transcendental Meditation group, which was very interesting. The movement, they called it, where we were doing meditation and doing yoga and doing breathing exercises hours and hours a day. We're talking about 4 to 6 hours a day. Okay, you'd sit in meditation 4 hours a day, but then you would also do the yoga, stretching like yoga. That's all meditation is yoga, but doing like the asanas and the breathing meditation, the pranayama and all that as well. And I was sitting next to somebody. I was 16 years old. And I looked at him and I said,
I think this is so cool. I love this. This is Sorry. This is just so beautiful, actually.
It's like, so I just started thinking, my 16-year-old testosterone-filled mind. I'm like, why am I doing this? It's just because I just always had, because that's just what you do. You get up in the morning at 5 o'clock and you do your different things and you get ready and you meditate and, you start your day and then you end your day with like this. It's just what you do. And I looked at the guy next to me and I'm like, so why do you meditate? And he's like, well, I've been meditating for 45 years. And I'm like, yeah, but why? Like, why are you doing this? And he looked at me and he's like, oh, because I want to get enlightened. And I'm like, yeah, but what's that? And he's like, well, it's undescribable. And I looked at him again and I said, well, then how do you know when you get there? And he went, huh, 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 huh. And he got up and left and he didn't show up the next day. And I'm like, oh,
Not to break a person.
I broke a meditator, right? And now I'm spending the rest of my life teaching people to meditate, of course. But the whole point is that, yes, to ask a person, what is it to be human? It's such an open question, just like what is enlightenment? If being human is both heaven and hell. It's all of the regalness of being the emperor of the universe and the absurdity of being the most ridiculous organism on the planet. You can just look at the human experience and go, wow, how do you put that in words? So it's undescribable. And almost everything is like that, actually.
How to describe a sunset?
How do you describe a sunset? Well, there's some colors.
There's some colors. The sun is going down. Yeah.
From what point of view?
So why would you, or sunrise? Why would you wake up at 5 in the morning or 4 to watch it?
Yeah.
Because of the colors?
Yeah. I mean,
is it the colors? That
Yeah.
can't be the colors. So again, how do you describe it?
yeah. And from what point of view, right? Are we going to talk about from an astrological point of view or an astronomy point of view is completely different than from the Earth. And, because there is no sunrise in space, so
The sun always up in space.
it's always
It's
up.
not that the sun goes, I have a nap now.
Yeah, I'm going to take a nap.
Then we
We
did.
We did.
We did.
Right? So it's all of these things, your point of view. So understanding that all of my talking now is leading us to a point, and that is that first you have to kind of figure out what direction you want to go and figure out what your goals are. Because for some people, waking up in the morning and having a cup of coffee and going for a walk and having lunch and coming home again and watching TV and going to sleep is beautiful. That's what they want to do. They don't want to do anything else. And everything else is torture for them. That's just what they want to do. And they could do anything, but that's what they want. So what do you want out of your life? And my idea is that if you think about what your perfect average day would be, that's something you work towards to achieve. But what you have to remember is that stuff happens, right? So you think your perfect average day, and I'm going to work myself to it. Good. But millionaires still get hemorrhoids. Millionaires still get in car crashes. People who have the best families in the world, yeah, but I don't care about money. I just want to have a good family relation. Okay, people who have good family relation get cancer in the family. What then? Yeah. Okay. You come home and all the food that you saved rotted. How do you handle it? War comes. How do you absorb and deal with that? Somebody does something to you that you can't control. And that person that I was talking about that wakes up and has a cup of coffee and goes for a walk and then watches TV, do you think some days they're going to meet assholes while they're walking?
Yes.
Absolutely. Do you think some days they're going to fall down and hurt themselves?
Vilken personlig tanke.
No.
Yes.
No. I'm only looking at you because
Yeah. Yes, they are.
Yeah, they are. So my point is that regardless of, okay, I have my kids, I love my kids, my wife, she's wonderful, I love her, I have a good job, I pay enough and maybe a little more than I need, I can save some, I got my house, everything is good, my garden is very tidy. I have a very tidy garden, and I can sit with a beer and watch the neighbors' kids be idiots because I have it good. Yeah, but that's not every single day, every single moment. That's not going to last because everything is in movement. Everything changes, including you. So what if you want something else? Don't you want the capacity to affect change in your life?
The perfect average day at 20 and 40 and 60 are very different.
Exactly.
I hope.
Exactly. I hope. Because if it's the same, you messed up. You got stuck somewhere. It's kind of like having that 80s hairdo in 2020. you know,
always watch the American videos or chick movies that I like to watch. And you always have the 35, 4-year-old that is stuck at the 18-year-old quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. Right? He was famous for a moment because he made that pass. He scored a touchdown, and he never left.
Nope. But he's 40.
But he's 40, and it's ugly.
Yeah.
You know, and the whole point is that we have to be able to evolve with our circumstance and grow ourselves. So, are you doing the work? The question is, are you preparing for the next phase of your life, which hopefully will be even richer and better, not money, maybe money, but richer and better than this one? What happens when the kids are out of the house? How's your relationship with your wife? When you have grandkids, do you still have a private life, or are you now basically the kindergarten for the kids? When you stop working, do you have other things that you're interested in, hobbies? That's just on this material plane, guys. But now we have to talk about the inside work. And the inside work is understanding your relationship to the world, your life, what you're doing, what you have done, good or bad. And of course, my listeners, Marit's listeners, the podcast listeners, you guys are all perfect, of course. But in most rooms, when I ask if we have ever done something that we were proud of, everybody raised their hands. And then I say, so have we ever done anything that we're not proud of? And nobody raises their hand. And I'm like, be honest, everybody raises their hand, right? And I'm like, okay, ever done something that you're ashamed of? Be honest. Everybody raises their hand, right? You know, it's like, there's always that pause. Like, I don't want to admit that I've done something shameful or bad. Everybody has, because we're all trying to work our way forward in our lives, and we're trying to figure stuff out. And even with the honest heart and the clear mind, you're still going to make mistakes. And you're also going to do stuff that was good a year ago, but now in the circumstances that you're in looks ridiculous. Okay? So can you forgive yourself for that? Can you move forward? Can you continue to have good relations with people? Or do you have self-destructive behaviors? You know? So that's more on a psycho-emotional level. Are you self-supporting with your activities, thoughts, or you're not? Do you drink too much alcohol? Do you try to escape your wife instead of contact her heart to heart and figure out what's going on and ask questions?
Or have a dinner outside.
Or have
get the grandparents.
Yeah, right?
That only watch your grandkids to
Yes.
watch your grandkids again. But so
Again,
you guys can have some time together.
Some time, or are you just trying to escape so you can hang out with the boys, right? Are you also constantly walking around with the fear of losing the good things in your life? Or are you actually able to really connect with the good things and understand that things will change, so you're appreciating them when they're there as they are, and also appreciate them as they leave, right? Your kids are going to leave the house at some point, hopefully, right? Which means that you're going to have a different life, and you're also maybe going to miss them, or you're going to think, oh, it'll be so good. But then when they're not there,
It's an empty home.
it's an empty home, right? And then you're left with a person you haven't spoken to for the last 30 years, for example. A lot of people are in that situation, right? So you have to really kind of think about the outside of your life, the rhythm of your outside life, the things, the trappings of your outside life will change. And can you be grateful for the change? And now we're getting closer and closer to what I really want to tell you about. Because we're kind of working from the outside stuff, psycho-emotional stuff, and now we're working on the really deep stuff, that you are grateful for the things that come and go. You're grateful for the things that come and go, and you use it as transformation. So let's say that you're a high-level athlete, but then you're injured, and you're injured in a way so that you really can't or shouldn't become that high-level athlete anymore. Can you transition with gratefulness and love for what you were, but not just continue living there? Like that football player we were just talking about. You know, he threw that touchdown pass, but now there's no opportunity for him to continue being the quarterback. So what is he going to do? He has to move on with his life and be grateful for that time, but really look forward and use the skills that he had there to grow his life.
Yeah, because if he managed to do that, he can manage to do so much else.
Yes.
Because the road to success, like you taught us, is the same everywhere.
Yes.
But this thing is, if you're stuck in that one thing,
Yeah.
it becomes a sad story instead of transitioning and expanding that capacity.
Exactly. The hard work, the focus, the dedication, the information processing, the self-mastery is the same in everything, guys. Every single thing is the same. Just the details change, the arena change. So, are you doing the work? If the process that you are using is strengthening and improving your relationship with the living moment, then you are doing the correct work.
Question.
Yes. Yeah.
I raised my hand.
Yeah, I was like, oh, yeah.
Because, yes, true, very profound. But when you're, we like predicting the future
Yes.
and looking back to the past.
Yes.
Who hasn't looked at the photograph of themselves and looked at when they were, I don't know, 19 or 21, or it wasn't that big gap, but whatever, in the past, and said, I wished I looked pretty good then. Mm-hmm. I didn't think that right there and then.
No, everybody thinks they're fatter than they are.
Yeah, and then something, I look strange, whatever it is, you look back and you go,
Yeah. Oh, that was pretty cute.
So how do you measure that you are getting more present in the moment? Because it's so easy to, you are who you are and who you always been, and how to actually see the transformation that you are building. Because I'm very lucky. I have an amazing peer group that reminds me every week and almost every day, if not every day, kind of that it is progressing and that I'm doing the work and I'm dedicating and it's working. Donkey ears. But how do you measure that you, or is there a way to measure that you are getting more and more present in the moment that is right here and now?
Yes, there is. Now, going back to, that's a very great question, and how do you kind of orientate yourself here? So it is your relationship with the living moment, meaning that are you able to be grateful and real and open and available for what is happening now and now and now and now and now and now and now. So when you get triggered, that's a reaction. That means you're not present because you're
running an old
you're
program.
running an old program, which means part of you is actually still stuck in the past. If you are in a situation where you have thoughts about yourself, meaning that I can never do this, or I'm just not like that, or that's not the way I do it.
Everybody else can, but not me.
Yes, your worldview, your personal philosophy is stuck in some old model. When you are present in the moment, now this is the thing that everybody wants. You know you have arrived when you have a completely clear mind, completely empty mind, awake and empty, a heart filled with unconditional love, and a body that is ready to respond. Not tensed, not all, it doesn't have to be super yoga flexible, all of that, but that is the state. That is the state of enlightenment from the head to the heart to the body. The higher levels, the true self that comes through, that is the sense of universal connection. Universal connection is something that happens when where you are identifying is higher in level than your worldview, personal philosophy, personality, story, your habits, and all of that other stuff that we work with all the time, constantly, right? So understanding that, like this old thing, understanding that you are a spiritual being having an earthly experience, right? But really understanding that that is universal. And if you are doing the work, you will more and more discover that you can love somebody and be angry at them, which means that if you can do that with one person, you can do it with everybody. I can be in love with my life and have lots of anxiety, but I still have love. I still have unconditional love, even though I'm terrified. I can have paranoia. Why am I now listing the negative emotions, quote unquote, negative emotions? It's because those are the ones that people want to get rid of all the time. The poor, ugly stepchildren of the emotional world.
Usually people don't want to get rid of happiness.
Yeah, they don't want to get rid of their happiness or their compassion or their bliss or whatever they want, right?
No, usually not.
Exactly. They pay big money to get rid of the other ones, right? So the whole point is that at some point you will be able to accept the darker emotions and the lighter emotions and still be in balance, meaning that you still have unconditional love for your situation right now and now and now. So anytime that you want to manipulate somebody else, right? You want to manipulate somebody else, you are actually out of balance. You are not in the moment. Because like I always say in the flow state continuing weekends, I say, okay, everybody is going to concentrate. You're going to see if you can sit in your chair and lift me with your mind. And everybody's like, and I'm like, okay, who has a headache? And half the people raise their hand. You're not going to lift me with your mind. If you can't touch me, you're not going to move my physical body. You can't manipulate something you can't touch. So the whole point is, how can I make you happy? I can't make you happy. I can participate in your life. I can give you opportunities.
You can participate in happiness.
I can support you, but I can't make you happy.
No, that's up to
That's
every single one of us.
Exactly. And I can't make you depressed. You see, here's the whole thing. If I can't make you happy, everybody agrees I can't make the other person happy.
But everybody agrees that someone made them depressed.
You made me so angry. You made me so depressed. You made me so whatever. So that's one thing.
My ability to not function in society is because of that person said something to me
Exactly.
20 years ago.
Exactly. And the other, and I hope people go back and listen to what I'm about to say. What I just said, what Marta just said, and what I'm about to say, because it's going to mess your mind up when you realize this. Okay? So when you think about the person who's manipulating people, what kind of emotions are they giving the people? Good ones or bad ones?
Good ones. No.
No, if I manipulate you, then I'm...
then if I'm getting manipulated, I don't feel very good about it.
Yeah,
no.
you're getting blackmailed, or you're getting made to feel scared or paranoid or anxious, or I'm making you do stuff because I'm manipulating you, right? You feel like you're getting pressured, right? But if I try to make you happy, I'm also manipulating you. Think about that, you manipulators. If you go out there and try to make somebody happy, first of all, it's impossible. You can participate in their life in a way that hopefully brings them to a state where they can feel happiness or make happiness for themselves. But you can help them be safe. You can teach them. You can give them opportunities. But there's no way that you can actually make that emotional state. You cannot take responsibility for it. Now, does that mean you should just not care at all? No, because you have unconditional love and you would like to support the person in the direction that they then feel they can be happy, or send them to the Flow State Continuum weekend so that they can learn that they're in charge of their own emotions. So if you are not in charge of your own emotions and you're trying to fix somebody else's emotions, go to the flow state. You're not there yet, and you should continue doing the work.
Yes, and do not think, and this is the thing. People say, you have this, my sister-in-law, she would love that stuff. Wouldn't you?
What about you? Yeah.
And we're so good at seeing other people's quote-unquote mistakes, blind spots.
Yep.
But not in ourselves.
Exactly.
And I think to do the work, I would say if you listen to this podcast, you're already doing some work.
Yeah.
But the question is, are you doing work for 45 minutes every other week, which is when this podcast is released? And do you do the tasks that we ask you? We give you, Jason just said, you should go back and listen.
Yeah.
Do you go back and listen so you can understand it? Or is it just something that's just run through your one ear to the other and then it's forgotten?
Exactly.
Because it's a big difference, or it's about knowing the answer and understanding the answer. You have to work from knowing it to understanding it.
Yes. And doing it.
And doing it. So you have to, and because we work up, down, inside, out.
Yeah.
It's about integrating the change.
Yes.
So the first thing, you're starting good. You're listening to our podcast. Good job.
Yes.
Second, do you actually do the work that we ask you? Do you reflect around the questions? Do you write them down? Or is it just something that you listen to and it's out? Do you actually find that thing in yourself? Because all of us have all of the things that we are talking about.
Yes.
I manipulated people.
Yeah.
In the good way, to
yeah,
feel
I've been
positive,
trying to make people happy my whole life.
Or then manipulated people to gain something from them. Oh, everybody has done it. It doesn't mean that I'm a master manipulator all the time, but I've done it.
Everybody tries to make their life more comfortable by relating to other people in a special
poor
way.
husband. Okay, actually, I manipulate my husband all the time.
Yeah. That's your job.
Oh my God, well, it's very obvious most of the time.
Yeah.
But we do it.
Yeah.
So where do you do it? Find it in yourself. Make a decision. You will continue doing it, then you're gonna stop. Then start acting differently.
Yeah.
So if you listen to a lot of podcasts about self-development, like Tim Ferriss, right, or Jordan Peterson, and you read the books, but you don't change a single behavior,
Yeah.
sorry, what's your ears, but shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Because then you're not doing the work, and you waste your time.
Yep.
Because those hours you could just as well have done something else.
Yeah, you could have been working and making money, or you could be gaming and throwing your life away.
Because it has to do with actually doing it.
Yeah.
And it's not are you doing the work? Have you made different choices?
Yeah. Do you notice that you're making better choices?
So what you can do, how I reflect on it is that today, just take today first. Did I make a good choice that is different from what I would have made a year ago? Did I do something this week, this month?
Yeah.
When was the last time that I know and I can pinpoint to myself that I chose something better, going the right direction? Am I listening? So I just said that you shouldn't just listen to podcasts, but are you listening to podcasts that builds you, or are you listening to stuff that doesn't build you?
Yeah.
Are you attending stuff that you know are good for you, although they do not feel comfortable?
Yes. And that's the thing. Real change and growth is never comfortable.
This expansion is not
yeah.
comfortable.
At the mastermind session, one of the really nice ladies that was there asked me a question or made a comment that I don't want to accept my situation. Because in her mind, for example, accepting the moment, I say, you have to accept the moment. People don't want to accept that, okay, I only have $85 on my account. I want to be a multimillionaire. But if you act like a multimillionaire when you have $85 on your account,
fake it till you make it.
You fake it until you make it. You get smashed, son. And then they start blaming you because, you didn't manifest good enough. You first have to know how much money you have on your account. You have to take a little bit of time to kind of figure yourself out. Where are you? And then as you pay attention, that you're making better decisions, that you're doing things in a more efficient way.
I think just what you said there is the key. Pay attention.
Pay attention.
If you do not pay attention, you will not see growth. You will not understand where you are, and you will not see that you are doing the work. And then you are relying on someone else telling it to you.
Yes.
But not everybody has a peer group like I have. I know that. A lot of the people that are doing the work through us are pretty alone, and they find the connection and community within the Flow State community, which I'm very grateful for, but also wish that they were able to get more of their close community with them.
Yes.
But like I tell them, I said, you need to become that change. So when people ask, what did you take?
Yeah.
Well, I did this event. Do you want to come next time?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that's how you build that community. So you're not alone in it.
Exactly.
But then you also have to prioritize. And we had I met a lady, it was this week, and she said, I need to change something. And then I said, well, and she's into this development things that we do and meditation and transformation. And I gave her a bunch of, I showed her a schedule, and she said, yeah, I can't that time. I can't then. That doesn't work for me. Yeah, but then you don't want it enough.
Yeah.
Because if I gave you, I show you a whole month of thing you can attend,
Yeah.
then it's the idea of doing it that is
Yeah.
what's it called? Appealing to you.
Yes.
It's not actually doing it.
Yeah, and that's a very good point, because if I was going to say, okay, you need heart surgery, would you have to check your
Can we wait
schedule?
2 months?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Maybe half a year.
Maybe I don't have time for that.
I don't have time for that. I don't have time for
yeah,
that.
Right? It's like, how important is it for every single moment of your life to be better? Like every moment, and it's that important. Like every moment is gold, So
when are you going to start living in the moment and not in the past and the future?
Exactly.
When I have time. Wow.
Well, you're never going to have time.
And that's the thing.
You don't take time.
You have to take that time.
Yeah.
Some things you can reschedule. Some
Yes.
things you can't.
Yeah.
I can reschedule. Sorry, girlfriends out there. I can reschedule, and I do this all the time. They know it. My dinner dates with girlfriends and friends when I have integrated human or self transformational stuff coming up, because I'm in my roles. Wife is number three.
Yeah, but that's the way it has to be.
He knows
good.
it.
Yeah.
He's number 3, and before that is integrated human and self development.
That's it.
That trumps everything that has to do with everything else, because I would like to be, it's my life. I want to be the best me.
Yeah.
And then I need to prioritize me and the time that I know. And I have found something that works for me. And that is the process we were doing, me being with the people that come to an event, bonding with them, learning from them, laugh with them, cry with them. That's where I have my biggest growth. I learn from every single one of them. That's why those events are number 1 priority. And after that, it's my husband, if he has any desires to do something and be social. And then everything else comes. Family, friends, that's after.
Yeah, and the cool, amazing thing there is that when you are an evolved and growing you are a way more attractive mate for your husband. He's the luckiest guy on the planet, because he's then with a person who's constantly better. If you think about it, most relationships get better or worse over time.
Worse.
That's why there's so much divorce.
I would say mine is getting better by the week.
By the week, literally, right? It's getting stronger and stronger.
And we've been together for 18 years.
Yeah, you see?
But it's now the last, after I really started this, that the relationship actually, there wasn't that before. Then we were just in a relationship.
Yeah.
Don't care. But now we are really building together. And you can say that it's not always popular that I cancel with friends and stuff like that. But for me, it's so important. And the few times I'm able to take that time, I'm having so much more fun.
Oh, yeah.
I'm having energy when I'm there. I'm enjoying the present moment with them. I like to hear what they're saying. I'm not feeling lower in energy and don't want to be there. I'm really there when I'm there.
Showing up.
And it's so much more. I can't speak for them because it's not my deal, but for me, the encounters are much more fun.
Yes.
And they give me energy to continue the other work. But
exactly.
If I let everything else come in, if I say that I want to be a more evolved human, I want to spend more quality time with my wife. First, you need to develop yourself and do things that you know build that development in you, and you need to prioritize that. Like Jason said, if you need a heart surgery, are you going to wait 3 months, half a year, 2 years?
Yeah.
Being in love or starting to understand, I'm in the process of it. I don't have it yet. I don't dare to claim that. But the process of starting to be in the present moment starts now and now and now and now.
Yes.
It can never start. You decide. If you want to have that, you need to decide to prioritize that.
Yeah.
If not, time gets taken.
It gets taken, and the person who has the most desire rules that moment. They pull the other people with them.
And then you feel obligated, and you should.
Exactly.
And my dad or my brother or my sister or my cousins they take that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you never have the present moment because you're filling everybody else's need.
Yeah, and running after the next thing you have to do instead of doing and being.
But for me, just for the kind of how I look at it and how I measure it when I feel am I progressing, I find have I made a different choice? Have I changed a reaction pattern? Did I recover quicker? Is it something good for me, like positive growth wise, that I can put a pin on today? Mm-hmm. Or that I did yesterday or a week ago. So I need to look at and evaluate and look for those changes all the time. Then I know that I'm doing it.
Where do I keep getting stuck?
And then when I do that, that's when you can send a message to this podcast like we've had people doing now. Yeah. I'm lucky enough that I have Jason with me most of the day. So I can ask a question, but then I ask a question. I'm not getting this to work. I don't know if I'm doing it. But then also you have to emphasize, what are you not getting to? How is it not working?
Yeah.
What's your expectation? What's the if you go back to training, I don't understand bench press. Because you can't say, I don't get this training to work. It's
Yeah.
too wide. It's very difficult to help those questions. But I don't feel like I can bench press. I don't feel like I managed to be present with my wife. Every time people say the color blue, I get angry.
Yeah. Or when they look at me like this, I have the right to yell and scream.
Every day at 4 o'clock, I feel drained.
Yeah, I feel exhausted.
Then
Really?
you start to get more specific.
Yeah.
And like you said in a mastermind yesterday, is that though that process is also a process of growth,
Yes.
because you see the blind spot that you do have. The thing you did said on your mastermind yesterday is that if you have a beard and you have mayo in your beard, you can walk around the whole day with mayo in your beard, a month,
Yeah.
and it's still mayo there, but you don't know that it's there.
Yeah.
But then you can notice that it's there, and then you can make a decision to keep having it
Yeah.
or
Save
not.
it for later.
And the
Who's
issue,
going to take it away?
I like this.
Yeah,
I like having mayo in my
keeping
beard.
that. Yeah, keeping it. Yeah.
But
Condiments.
it's so easy that when you discover that you have mayo in your beard, it's so horrific. We take it as a horrific thing because we notice a not perfect thing about ourselves.
Yeah.
But you've been doing that thing for, in my case, 33 years already.
Yeah.
It's not new.
Yeah.
I've had mayo in my beard for 33 years. 33 years. It's not new. It's just that now you notice it.
Now you
and now
notice it.
that noticing and that witnessing makes you able to make a different choice.
Yes.
Or being horrifically ashamed and make your world even smaller. Please don't do that.
Yes.
Make the decision. When you notice something like that, change the pattern. And it can be quite difficult.
Yeah.
And you may fall back and get more mayo on your face.
Mm-hmm.
But then you clear it up again and you then manage 2 days without mayo.
Yeah.
And then you have more mayo, but you take it away again. And with time, you're mayo free.
Exactly. You're mayo free. That's it. Stay mayo free, my friends. But it's about making those choices. And so well said. Thank you, Marit. That was beautifully, beautifully put. And I just want to say that we are all moving forward on this planet together. And as we have healthier and happier people, we will have a better planet and a better relationship. And when I say planet, I don't necessarily mean the nature on the planet, though that too. The planet will survive long after the human race is gone. So the planet doesn't care, homie.
She's a strong one.
She's a very strong one. So the whole point is that we will be a better race. We will be a better animal on the planet if we can just relate to ourselves in a more healthy way. Because if we relate to ourselves in a more healthy way, the people around us also are upgraded. You look at Maudit's progress and her amazing growth and her strength and nobility through the difficulties that are of being a human being. You would know that everybody around her, her husband, everybody around her, parents, myself, everybody's improved by who she is.
We do it together.
And we all are moving forward together. So that's another clue if you're doing the work. Are the people around you getting the benefits and growing with you? Because when you are at a higher level, everybody around you will soon be at a higher level. So continue doing that work, my friend, and know that we're with you. And I will see you.
And notice the moments. And notice the changes. And don't take them for granted, because you work hard for every small change you make.
That's it.
If it's the cracker instead of the pizza, if it's taking half an hour for yourself instead of doing what other people told you to do or they needed from you. Whatever change it is, that you didn't react to the color blue. Whatever it is.
Yes. And
Notice.
walk and join with other people who are evolving. Get your peer group. Make sure that you revisit people you know are doing the work so that you can feel that energy. Just like if you are a person doing jiu-jitsu and you're far away from where you learn jiu-jitsu, you come back and feel that energy again, and you can check yourself with the people there to see if you still have your level or not, if you're still moving forward or not. It's very important to have those conversations, have that togetherness. Remember, you matter. Unless you multiply yourself by the speed of light squared, then your energy, if you can't be energy, matter.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We hope you felt we added something to your day and hopefully your life. If you want to learn more, subscribe to our newsletter and find us at integrated-human.com. That is integrated-human.com. Integrated Human on YouTube and other social media platforms. Have a great day and thank you again for listening. Love, light, and upgrade from us at the Integrated Human team.